Hi, welcome to the quiz. You can answer along on quizalto.com, all for free. The exact URL of this quiz will be in the notes down below. Let's get started. Good luck. What feature allows you to see detailed build logs in AWS CodeBuild? Amazon CloudWatch logs. AWS config. AWS X-ray. AWS CloudTrail. AWS CodeBuild integrates with Amazon CloudWatch logs to provide detailed build logs. How do you update the build environment in AWS CodeBuild? By modifying the S3 bucket. By changing the source code. By specifying a new Docker image. By updating IAM roles. You can update the build environment in AWS CodeBuild by specifying a new Docker image in the project configuration. What is the purpose of the cache section in a buildspec.yml file? To define the build commands. To specify directories or files to cache. To configure IAM roles. To manage build environments. The cache section in a buildspec.yml file specifies directories or files to cache, reducing build times. How does AWS CodeBuild charge for usage? Per user. Based on number of projects. Based on the compute resources consumed. Flat monthly fee. AWS CodeBuild charges are based on the compute resources consumed during the build process. What does the compute type in a build project configuration specify? The IAM role used. The build timeout. The type of source code repository. The type of compute resources used. The compute type in a build project configuration specifies the type of compute resources used for the build. How do you set up automated builds in AWS CodeBuild? By integrating with AWS Code Pipeline. By manually triggering builds. By using AWS step functions. By scheduling them in CloudWatch. You can set up automated builds in AWS CodeBuild by integrating with AWS Code Pipeline. What is a common use case for AWS CodeBuild? Hosting static websites. Automating the software build and test process. Monitoring application performance. Managing cloud infrastructure. AWS CodeBuild is commonly used to automate the software build and test process as part of a CI/CD pipeline. What does the reports section in a buildspec.yml file define? The environment variables. The build timeout. The source code repository. How test results are exported. The reports section in a buildspec.yml file defines how test results are exported to Amazon S3 or other destinations. What does AWS CodeBuild use to isolate builds? Lambda functions. Docker containers. S3 buckets. EC2 instances. AWS CodeBuild uses Docker containers to isolate builds, ensuring a consistent and clean environment. Can AWS CodeBuild be integrated with AWS Lambda? No, they are separate services. No, Lambda functions cannot be triggered. Yes, but only for build initiation. Yes, for running post-build actions. AWS CodeBuild can be integrated with AWS Lambda to run post-build actions such as deployment or notifications. What source code repositories can AWS CodeBuild integrate with? Only AWS CodeCommit. Only Bitbucket. Only GitHub. GitHub, Bitbucket, AWS CodeCommit. AWS CodeBuild can integrate with multiple source code repositories like GitHub, Bitbucket, and AWS CodeCommit. Can AWS CodeBuild run tests as part of the build process? Yes, it can run tests. Yes, but only unit tests. No, it only packages code. No, it only compiles code. AWS CodeBuild can run tests as part of the build process, including unit, integration, and functional tests. What is the privileged mode setting in AWS CodeBuild? It enables access to EC2 instances. It grants additional IAM permissions. It allows the use of Docker within Docker. It provides enhanced logging. The privileged mode setting in AWS CodeBuild allows the use of Docker within Docker, enabling more complex build environments. Can AWS CodeBuild be used for both continuous integration and continuous delivery? No, it cannot be used for either. No, it only supports continuous integration. No, it only supports continuous delivery. Yes, it supports both CI and CD. AWS CodeBuild can be used for both continuous integration and continuous delivery as part of a CI/CD pipeline. What service can be used to store and version Docker images for AWS CodeBuild? Amazon SNS. AWS CodeDeploy. Amazon ECR. Amazon RDS. Amazon Elastic Container Registry is used to store and version Docker images for use in AWS CodeBuild. Does AWS CodeBuild support build notifications? Yes, but only via email. Yes, via Amazon SNS. No, notifications are not supported. No, only AWS CodeDeploy supports notifications. AWS CodeBuild can send build notifications using Amazon SNS. What is an environment in AWS CodeBuild? A combination of build configuration and resources. A storage location for build artifacts. A source code repository. A deployment target. An environment in AWS CodeBuild includes the build configuration and resources needed to run the build. Can you use custom Docker images with AWS CodeBuild? No, Docker images are not supported. No, only default images are supported. Yes, custom Docker images are supported. Yes, but only from AWS Marketplace. AWS CodeBuild allows you to use custom Docker images for your build environment. Which service does AWS CodeBuild closely integrate with for storing artifacts? Amazon S3, AWS Code Pipeline, AWS CloudFormation, Amazon RDS. AWS CodeBuild stores build artifacts in Amazon S3 buckets. Which AWS service is used to monitor the metrics of AWS CodeBuild? AWS Lambda, Amazon CloudWatch, AWS CloudTrail, AWS Config. Amazon CloudWatch is used to monitor the metrics of AWS CodeBuild, such as build duration and success rates. What is a buildspec.yml file in AWS CodeBuild? A deployment descriptor. A file that stores source code. A file that defines the build commands and settings. A configuration file for EC2 instances. The buildspec.yml file is a YAML file that contains the commands and settings used by AWS CodeBuild to run a build. What happens if an AWS CodeBuild build fails? The source code is deleted. The project is terminated. The build is automatically retried. You can view the logs to diagnose the issue. If a build fails, you can view the logs to diagnose and fix the issue. Which IAM policy is needed for AWS CodeBuild to access source code repositories? Amazon's 3 read-only access, AWS Lambda Execute, AWS CodeBuild Developer Access, Amazon EC2 Full Access. AWS CodeBuild requires the AWS CodeBuild Developer Access policy to access source code repositories. Can AWS CodeBuild integrate with third-party CI/CD tools? Yes, but only with Jenkins. No, it only integrates with AWS Code Pipeline. Yes, it integrates with many third-party tools. No, it only works within AWS. AWS CodeBuild can integrate with many third-party CI/CD tools such as Jenkins and GitHub Actions. Can AWS CodeBuild cache dependencies to speed up builds? No, caching is not supported. No, each build starts fresh. Yes, but only for NPM packages. Yes, caching is supported. AWS CodeBuild supports caching of dependencies to speed up subsequent builds. And that's a wrap. Thanks to everyone who participated. Remember, you can answer along on quizalto.com, where you can keep track of your progress and find much more quizzes. We hope you had a fun and challenging time. Until next time. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more. Hit the bell icon to be notified as soon as we upload. Please leave a comment if you have any thoughts or suggestions, and, if you think this video is worth sharing with someone who could benefit from it, please forward a link to them. See you next time. Thanks for watching.